Imagine diving into worlds where dragons soar across alien skies, wizards battle ancient evils, and everyday humans grapple with magical forces that defy reality. This is the enchanting pull of fantasy literature, a genre that has captivated readers for centuries with its boundless imagination. But here's where it gets controversial. Is it fair to rank the best fantasy books when the field spans such diverse cultures and eras? Join us as we explore our curated list of the 12 finest fantasy masterpieces of all time, each one a cornerstone that has shaped the genre in profound ways. Static media. We may earn a small commission from purchases made through affiliate links. One of the most mesmerizing aspects of speculative fiction is its incredible versatility. Much like a mystical artifact that shifts forms or a clever shapeshifter adapting to any scenario. Similar to how the top sci-fi novels cover vast terrains of time, languages, subgenres, and global perspectives. Think of classics like those in our sci-fi rankings. The pinnacle of fantasy stories traverses centuries, numerous tongues, countless niches, and nearly every corner of the planet. Of course, attempting a truly exhaustive list of the greatest fantasy works ever written would easily balloon into hundreds of titles to capture their full scope. Nevertheless, this is as good a place as any to begin. The selections below, encompassing both sprawling series and solitary novels that suit the genre's epic nature, aren't merely pivotal, groundbreaking, and influential milestones from various periods of fantasy's history. They're also, at their core, utterly thrilling reads. These are tales brimming with drama, humor, intrigue, and excitement, showcasing just how limitless human creativity can be when poured onto the page. Here's our take on the 12 best fantasy books of all time. The Legend of the Condor Heroes by Jin Yong, HKFM. The Chinese Wuxia genre, often involving heroic journeys, filled with martial arts feats and moral growth, stands as one of the most vital branches of fantasy storytelling worldwide. It's inspired imaginations for generations and has fueled countless films and TV shows, not only in China, but across the globe. In this compilation, we're spotlighting The Legend of the Condor Heroes, the hugely acclaimed and impactful masterpiece from Hong Kong author Jin Yong. First released serially from 1957 to 1959, and later translated into English as a 4-book set titled A Hero Born, A Bond Undone, A Snake Lies Waiting, and A Heart Divided. The story unfolds during the Jin Song Wars of the 12th and 13th centuries. The intricate narrative, which was adapted into Wong Kar-wai's 1994 film Ashes of Time, shown above, follows the intertwined paths of Guo Jing and Yang Kong, the sons of two sworn brothers, separated by conflict. While the compassionate Guo Jing matures in Mongolia, honing martial skills under the guidance of the Five Greats, alongside his love interest Huang Rong, Yang Kong is brought up as a noble in the Jurchen court, mastering deceit and political schemes. As their lives collide in a web of rivalry, Jin Yong masterfully blends fantasy elements with Chinese history, creating an experience that's utterly captivating. Broken Earth by N.K. Jemisin, Orbit. Perhaps the most transformative event in fantasy publishing over the past decade was the arrival of N.K. Jemisin's Broken Earth trilogy, kicking off with the 5th season in 2015, followed by The Obelisk Gate in 2016 and The Stone Sky in 2017. Jemisin crafted a universe so elaborate, vast, and both awe-inspiring and chilling that it instantly became a genre staple. She achieved this with prose that's exceptionally vivid, characters of remarkable depth, and a sharp political insight rarely seen in modern fiction. Not surprisingly, Jemisin broke records by becoming the first writer to snag back-to-back Hugo Awards for Best Novel 3 years in a row. Situated on a fictional world called The Stillness, where all inhabitants share one massive landmass, the Broken Earth series depicts a rigidly stratified, deeply flawed society centered on origins, individuals who can manipulate seismic energy and prevent or trigger earthquakes. yet are feared and oppressed unless trained by guardians. Through the parallel journeys of Essen, Demaya, and Cyanite, three origins whose fates intertwine amid a climate-fueled war, Jemisin delves into the darkest corners of fantasy tales. She challenges readers with the dense world-building while delivering emotionally resonant, unflinching narratives. Forest of a Thousand Daemons by Dio Fagunwa. City Lights Publishers, Nigerian author Dio Fagunwa pioneered Yoruba language novels, and his 1938 debut, Ogboju Ode Ninu Igbo Irunmole, translated into English as Forest of a Thousand Daemons, a Hunter Saga, marks a historic milestone not just for Nigerian writing, but for global fantasy as a whole. Rooted in Yoruba spirituality, the book is framed as the coming-of-age reminiscences of an elderly hunter named Akara Ogun, who introduces himself to the narrator and thus to you, the reader. Orphaned young, son of a warrior and a witch, Akara Ogun embarks on solo explorations that lead to thrilling escapades in the enchanted forest of Irunmole, teeming with gods and mythical beings. Spanning years and enriched by Fagunwa's poetic and inventive style, beautifully rendered in English by Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka, the novel unfolds like a classic saga, guiding readers through paths of exhilarating grandeur and poignant sorrow. It's as essential to Africa's legendary heritage as the tales of Hans Christian Andersen or J.R.R. Tolkien are to Europe's, offering an equally riveting discovery in book form. For instance, beginners might find it helpful to think of it as a blend of adventure like Indiana Jones with the spiritual depth of ancient myths. Discworld by Terry Pratchett, Collins Smythe Limited. Though many entries here are multi-volume epics, labeling Terry Pratchett's adored Discworld collection, a 41-book series spanning 32 years, averaging more than one release per year, as a single book, might stretch the definition. Yet, excluding Discworld from any top fantasy list would be unthinkable, so we've included the entire saga, set on Discworld, a flat planet balanced on 4 elephants atop a space-swimming turtle. Pratchett's series fuses a deep affection for fantasy tropes with sharp comedic satire and social commentary. The overarching mythology is rich enough to spark endless creativity, but each novel dives into a distinct corner of this world, from wizards and trolls to vampires and steampunk quests, allowing Pratchett to reinvent it humorously and inventively over decades. It's a universe where you can truly lose yourself, exploring everything from urban mysteries to the adventures of Death himself. The Palm Wine Drinkard by Amos Tutuola, Grove Press. Amos Tutuola's The Palm Wine Drinkard, published in 1952, serves as a fascinating study in fantasy's evolution. As one of the earliest African novels in English to gain international attention, its Yoruba-influenced prose drew criticism from Western reviewers for seeming rough or unpolished, and from Nigerian ones for potentially reinforcing stereotypes. Despite this, it became a global sensation, enduring as a non-Western genre icon and prompting reevaluations. And this is the part most people miss. Its sheer originality invites you to form your own opinion on its brilliance. For our purposes, we declare it a triumph, bursting with fresh storytelling and vibrant Yoruba folklore that makes it an addictive read and a gateway to new worlds. Narrated in first person, it follows a clever hero using wit and magic to resurrect his favorite palm wine supplier, resulting in a fluid, funny, liberated adventure you'll never forget. The Dragon Riders of Pern by Anne McCaffrey Del Rey. The Dragon Riders of Pern saga, launched in 1967 and continuing today, is a genre pillar that's intriguing both as a foundational text and a mirror to fantasy's changes. Here, we focus on the original trilogy by creator Anne McCaffrey, often bundled as the Dragon Riders of Pern Omnibus, including 1968's Dragon Flight, 1971's Dragon Quest, and 1978's The White Dragon. Starting with Dragonflight, which earned McCaffrey the first Hugo for a woman, the series introduces Pern, a colonized world with intelligent fire-breathing dragons. A fungal plague called Thread forces a medieval lifestyle, erasing memories of Earth's past. The trilogy follows dragon riders combating these threats, especially the looming Ninth Pass. It's a masterclass in heroic fantasy mixed with sci-fi, inspiring countless dragon tales, like modern movies, through its blend of adventure and innovation. A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin, HBO, including an unfinished series like George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire, might seem unusual, but its scale demands inclusion, much like Discworld. From 1996's A Game of Thrones to 2011's A Dance with Dragons, Martin reinvented epic fantasy with gritty realism, setting a benchmark for the genre. It's not accurate, as some claim, that it's fantasy for non-fantasy fans. Martin honors the genre deeply. His Westeros saga creates a vivid, brutal world where political intrigue and personal drama unfold dramatically. This realism birthed HBO's Game of Thrones, above, the biggest TV show ever, though changes between book and screen sparked debates. Blood in the Mist by Hope Mirrlees. Ancient Wisdom Publications. British modernist Hope Mirrlees shifted from realism in 1926 to craft a whimsical yet profound fantasy with Blood in the Mist. This gem challenges the notion that high fantasy can't feature elegant prose or deep ideas. Though it took years to gain fame, it's a hidden treasure influencing the genre. Set in the fictional Dormere, it portrays the rational, magic-free life in Blood in the Mist, which shifts as fairies infiltrate. Mirrlees explores themes like historical amnesia, faith versus time, and oppression, wrapped in enchanting yet eerie fantasy. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll, RKO Radio Pictures. Lewis Carroll's 1865 children's classic, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, is undeniably one of the English language's most iconic works, its imagination permeating global culture. Over a century later, it remains miraculously self-contained. Interpretations abound: philosophical echoes, psychological insights, Victorian critiques, but at heart, it's Alice's plunge into a chaotic rabbit hole world. Its self-sufficient whimsy, from talking animals to nonsensical events, defies overanalysis, even after adaptations like the 1951 Disney film Above. Few fantasies capture such pure, boundless innovation. Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin SS Saga Press. Ursula K. Le Guin epitomizes rigorous genre writing. Her work's a guide to sci-fi and fantasy's potential. The Earthsea Cycle, 6 books over 33 years, bridges fantasy's history and future, appealing to all ages. From the 1968 to 1972 trilogy, A Wizard of Earthsea, The Tombs of Atuan, The Farthest Shore, to later editions like Tehanu, 1990, and The Other Wind, 2001, it follows wizardly conflicts in Earthsea. Le Guin focuses on everyday humanity and vulnerability, with prose that's simply stunning. Journey to the West by Wu Cheng-en, Foreign Languages Press, dated to Ming China in the late 16th century. Journey to the West is a foundational epic, blending Xuanzang's real pilgrimage with folklore. Attributed to Wu Cheng-en, it follows the monk Tang Sengzang and companions, monkey Sun Wukong, pig Zhu Baiji, ogre Sha Wujing, and dragon horse, through perils for Buddhist texts. It's a pinnacle of Chinese mythology, still thrilling with adventure, wonder, and philosophy. The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien, New Line Cinema. Need we say more? Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings is the quintessential fantasy novel, the foundation of the genre. Published in 1954, 1955 as 3 volumes, adapted in Peter Jackson's films like Fellowship Above, it's a wartime-inspired epic of imagination and morality. Middle-earth's vastness reflects Tolkien's genius, making characters like Gandalf and Frodo timeless. What do you think? Does including culturally diverse works like these make fantasy more inclusive, or does it dilute traditional Western standards? Share your thoughts in the comments. Agree that The Palm Wine Drinker deserved reevaluation, or disagree with A Song of Ice and Fire as incomplete? Let's debate.